Omer Reb Yitzchak Bar Chananya, Omer Rapuna. Amuda no michaveiro. Person who's not permitted to have benefit from someone else. Mutalasi lobito. Yeah. Reuven has a daughter, and he wants to marry his daughter to Shimon. Reuven says, all these distractions, it's unbelievable, it's okay. Yeah. So Reuven says to Shimon, I will not benefit from you. So Reuven is allowed to marry his daughter to Shimon. But if he marries his daughter to Shimon, that means he assumes financial responsibility for his daughter. Is that called benefiting? It's Hamuda no michaver mutalasi lobito. What are we speaking about? Right? Are we speaking about the father of the girl says, you cannot benefit from my assets? From my assets. That's what the father said to this. Reuven says to Shimon, you cannot benefit from my assets. Now he gives him his minor daughter marriage. So what is he giving her? He's giving her a housekeeper. His daughter's in his domain. By giving her as a wife, he's giving him a housekeeper. So if that's the case, he's benefiting. So we can't say El Shnichse Chosna Asur al Aviakalo, where the Reuven says, I will not benefit from you, Shimon. So although Shimon is taking over the financial responsibilities for the father, because it's his wife, he's going to feed her, he's permitted. Yeah? Reuven says, I will not benefit from you, Shimon. Now Reuven is permitted to marry his daughter to Shimon, even though Shimon will be feeding and clothing his daughter. Okay? No, it can't be the case where the father says you can benefit from me, because when he gives his daughter as a wife, he's benefiting the man, because now he has a housekeeper. That's why it can't be the case. It must be the other case. The case means where the father said, I will not benefit from you. So although now he no longer has the financial responsibility to his daughter, that's not considered benefiting, because the reason why he's supporting his wife is not to benefit the father, but rather because that's an obligation of a husband to a wife. Okay? Even more than that, Zonis Ishto Vezbonov, Api Shuchai bin Nosam, which means, let's say Reuven says to Shimon, I will not benefit from you, and then afterwards Reuven stops supporting his family. He has a financial obligation, and Shimon supports his family, his wife and children. Even that's permitted. Why? Right? He says, G'dolim Zomru, Zon is Ishto Vezbonov, Api Shuchai bin Zonosa, Vat Amrit Mutter, Lasi Lobito. And what's the Chiddush? The Gemara asks, what are you telling me? That you know something? You're permitted to what? To marry his daughter, although you're taking over the financial responsibility of father to the daughter. He says, what's the Chiddush? A man who's what? Says, I will not benefit from you. He doesn't pay his child support, his wife's support. And if the person who's not benefit covers the expense, it's not a problem. So therefore, that can't be the case. That the assets of the father of the girl are not permitted to the what? To the chosen. Ubito bogeres. We're speaking about she's an adult. She's not a minor. So if that's the case, she's independent of the father. See, the father's not giving an asset. If the daughter's a minor, that's his asset. But if she's an adult, full adult, it's herself. Shenichse aviakalo. Asur al v'chosom ubito bogeres umidaito. Tanya mihochi. We learned it explicitly in the Brayse. Hamuda no michavero oslas lobito. Right? He's not permitted to marry his daughter who's still in his domain. Avol masiu bito bogeres umidaito. But if she's already a full adult, she's out of his domain, he could marry her. Why? Because by him marrying her, he's what? He's not providing anything. What is he providing her? Let's see the Ran. Hare moslo shivchu l'shamksov bito naras elo shnichse chos dasur abdikal commercial api shnichse in the chos of asurim as lebito api shchai b'zona. Okay, gdolim zomru. So the Gemara asks, it can't be that, can't be the case, because gdolim zomru zon is ishto as bonov v'adamrit muto asibit flomer. If hu yochel son is bito boda b'rishuso shchai b'zona kolshkim shuchal loso and oso ach shenoso shchai b'zona ishto. Yep, bito geres midaito. Okay. Further, we're holding a little further. We did this yesterday. Omer Rab Yaakov, Hamad beno leTalmud Torah. Hear this? A person says, I will not benefit from my son's service because I don't want to interrupt his Torah studies. Because if he asks him to do something, he's infringing on his son's time. So how does the father protect the son from himself? He says, I will not benefit from my son. And what was the objective of making the neder? The Talmud Torah, for the sake of Talmud Torah. The son is able to draw a barrel of water for his father, to provide water for the father. Even to light a candle, even though he's taking out some time, he has to take some time out. And the father said, I will not benefit because it will interrupt your Torah study. He's permitted to do it. He can even broil a small fish for him because it doesn't take that much time. So the Ran explains, because what did the father mean when he made the neder? Something which is a significant infringement of time. But drawing of water or lighting a candle takes a moment. It doesn't take anything. That's what he says, boiling a small fish. And that's what makes a gourmet dinner. Right? That entails an extended period of time. So the neder never included that small chore. The neder only included a chore which entails time. Person says, I will not benefit from you. Yeah? I will not allow you to benefit from me. He's permitted to drink a cup to show this friendship. Why? Because he's doing it really not to benefit the other person. It's only to show his friendship to the other person. Mind you, what is a kosher shalom? It's a kosher beis ovil. Provide wine for the ovil to drink. If the person comes out of the bathhouse because he has to hydrate himself, so they would drink a glass of wine afterwards to be reinvigorated. He's permitted, because that's not the benefit. Let's see the Ran. Here, mutar haben lamalas loviv chov shel mayim ulhadli unersener dem stom mili zuchi kihani lekabu bitl limitora lo adre. Since it's considered an insignificant chore, it doesn't really infringe to any degree on his time. Therefore, it's permitted. V'hochi mukach ha'perusha tosefta de bchoros tanya mais bechod shehirtzo second dalid mais beechod. Yeah. Shehikzo b'nol Talmud Torah. A father said, I want my son to be dedicated to Torah. So the diro malasus lo malocha, and he made a neder that the son. He says, I will not benefit from my son's chores, because he didn't want to in any way interfere. V'hitalo yosi b'rebi lamalos lo chav shel mayim latlukas in there. Even though he made the neder, the father, it says there, Rabbi Yossi, the son of Rebbe, permitted the son to draw water for his father and to light the candle. So you see from there, because since it's considered something insignificant, that was never included in the father's neder. Yusham says bekurim, Tony Hamadis B'dol Tam Tor Mutalamas Lochav Shel Mayim, Vadus and there Reb Yaakov Reidi Shem Reb Yochanan Aflikach Lokeach Lo Chafetz Min Ashuk. Yeah, the son is even permitted to go purchase something for his father from the market. Buy him a loaf of bread. Because again, he's putting that on the same level as drawing water and lighting the candle. My pligan, what's the argument? Kan bi'ish kan bi'isha. You hear this? With friendship, whether it's a man or a woman. Im hoyo odom mesuyam. 1 second. Also ki isha. Climate. The isha v'odom mesuyam ain't dark lika chavetz min ashuk. Yeah. If it's a person who's of status, a woman. There's the person we had yesterday called Kudavas Melch Mima. You don't send your wife to the market to be exposed. So when he made the neder, right? 1 second, which means the issue of other Muslim and dark likan chavitzim neshuk v'anet sadim daitu dochelu. No, he said like this. Let's see, the mother made the neder. The mother made a neder. I will not infringe on your time. So since a woman herself doesn't go to the market because she's not going to expose herself, so to provide that service, she never meant she's not going to infringe on the son, because she can't do it herself. So therefore, she meant anything she could do herself, then the neder applies. But areas which she can't do herself, like going to the market, but let's say we did the father. So for the father, he wouldn't be permitted to go to the market, because the father go to the market himself, because it is a significant amount of time. and the father could do it himself, so he meant it in the neder. But lighting the candle or drawing the water, which is considered an insignificant chore, doesn't really entail that much time. The father never meant that. Aval ish, sheni mesuyim came shadar kolech b'shuk afi loch adrei. Mutal hashkel koshel shalom klom mutal l'shamsho b'koshel bayis. Aval ovel beisovel inami shel isminei shadar kishom shadar k'mekach. Mi davko hay koshel mudar l'shamsho zel v'achitiru dumi le'idach madis b'no Talmud Torah. Okay, further. There is a famous story with the Chafetz Chaim, famous story, personal story, where when he was a younger man, the Chafetz Chaim lived till the age of 99. Do you know what he accomplished in his life? It's not to be believed what he accomplished. Though the Mishnah Berurah, all the Sfarim he wrote, the Chafetz Chaim, was of Shmer Saloshim. He affected our generation, past few generations. The Torah world would not be the same. It's impossible. When he was a young man, he went to a bathhouse. And a bathhouse in those days was like a Turkish bath, and he stayed too long, and he passed out. He passed out from the heat, and he felt he was expiring. He was dying. Turned out the bathhouse keeper came in just in time, and he doused him with cold water, and he gave him cold water. He revived him. If he wouldn't have, and also it was very smoky. They would have to eat it. It was all from smoke inhalation. He was going to die. So he thanked Hashem for the miracles and this that because otherwise he would have died at the age of 25. This is the story of the Chafetz Chaim. So I'm saying this kosher Beis HaMerchotz. You come out of Beis HaMerchotz, you have to be given to drink. Otherwise, it's a question of danger. Person has heat stroke. Unless you give him water, he could die. Never. A netter's a netter. I make a netter. Tefillin are off limits to me. These tefillin, you're not permitted to put on the tefillin. Because the object is not permitted. It can't override the netter. Doesn't make a difference. Go find yourself another pair of tefillin. No, that's an oath. No, for sure. I swear I won't put on tefillin. The oath is not an oath. Because there's a previous oath at Sinai that you have to put on tefillin. Yeah, but when a netter is the object is off limits. I'm not saying I'm not going to do the mitzvah of tefillin. When you swear I'm not going to do the mitzvah, how can you swear you're not going to do the mitzvah? You're obligated to do the mitzvah. Here I'm saying this object of tefillin is not permitted to me. Yeah, but what happens if no other tefillin? Doesn't make a difference. You're not permitted to put on tefillin. The netter affects that's off limits. There's never, no. If honor the father and mother would no. First of all, the father made the netter. The child didn't make the netter. Here the father said, all your services are off limits to me. That the father said to the son, because he doesn't want to infringe on the son's time for the study of Torah. Even the father could even make a shua here. This is not here anyway. But the father even take an oath. I swear that I will not benefit from your service. The father could do it. The father's not obligated to have his son serve him, because the father could waive that obligation. Okay. Lo yozen is behemto. It says in the Mishnah he's not permitted to feed his animal. Okay, so we're going to argue this: is it behemoth Torah? Is it a kosher species? Is it a non-kosher species? Okay. Tanya Yeshua Ish Uza Omer Zon Avodah v'Shepchos v'Knanim. He's permitted to feed his slaves and maidservants or Kananim. V'lo yozon es behemto ben temei ben Torah. But he's not permitted to feed the animal, whether it's kosher or non-kosher. My time. Avodah v'Shepchos v'Knanim leMacharusa Avidon ve'em leftum Avidon. You know what the difference is? He says a slave is made for working. Right? So if that's the case, if you feed the slave too much, you fatten him up, he's not going to work so well. So it's not a benefit to the master. It's a detriment. Right? I said I will not benefit you. An animal, that its value is it's being fattened. So the more it's fattened, the more value it is. Mm-hmm. But a slave, what's his value? A maidservant. They shouldn't be lazy. So if they're overweight, they eat too much, they're not as effective. So by feeding them, overfeeding them, that's considered a detriment. Therefore, it's not a contradiction to the neder. Let's see the Ran. As a vodah shchozachna, nearly the mizonos, like he said earlier, we're speaking about, he's not feeding them their basic needs. He's overfeeding them. They ate some But Reb Lezer koivochem. Haishar yused ishar Reb Lezer behemet tmeya dainu mizonos yiseira. Kmosh brashli mission say leser. That feel behemet tmeya leftum avido. That you fatten it, even non-kosher species. Lomocher lo b'kochovim. Alba v'adov shivchoso v'knanim. But if it's the male or female maidservants, mio yisei dinu lemat karusa avinon. Klomen nakar abayis l'tashmish l'ma. What's the value? What's the value of a slave? To clean up the house and do what he has to do. So if you overfeed him, what happens? He becomes less effective. Viko degarsi lemant charuso kloma shein omdim lachila el nechiro. Ba'alma kshein mesin menichanosa ve'inodim. Meaning, fattening the slave has no value. He's not saying because it's a detriment. It's not a benefit. It's not a benefit. It's not a loss. Because he says an animal, you fatten it. So let's say it dies, you sell off its flesh. What happens if the slave is fattened and he dies? Right? You put him in the ground.
Yeah.
So the more weight or being healthier has no value to the master. You're not providing the basic caloric need for the day. That the owner does. You want to add to that. Adding has no value to the master. But an animal, whether it's kosher, non-kosher, it has value. Why? Because if the animal should die, its flesh is worth more. You have more flesh to sell. Okay. You this person says, "I will not benefit from you," and he wants to pay a visit, sick visit. Right? Right? Biko so he comes into the man's house. He wants to sit on the chair next to the bed to speak to the sick man. He's not permitted to sit. Because when he sits on the chair, he's benefiting from the man's assets. He made a neder. Reuven says, "I will not benefit from you, Shimon." He gets a call. Shimon had a heart attack. Right? So Reuven runs to the house. He wants to sit down. He's not permitted to sit. Because if he sits, that means he's benefiting from his domain, from his furniture. Okay? Umerapo rufuas nefesh. No, he's not him. Him means his property. Him means him and all his assets. So visiting you, I could visit you, right? You could visit the person. But if he does more than that and he benefits from his domain, he's not permitted. That was the netter. What is he permitted to offer a service, medical service? Umerapa rufuas nefesh rufuas mamon. Right? Let's say he speaks to him in a way to calm his spirit. That he could do. Let's say the patient is not permitted to benefit from the man, and he speaks to him to calm him. That he could do. That's rufuas nefesh. What if rufuas mamon? He's going to pay for his medication. That means the medication to be taken really was paid for by the one he's not permitted to have that he can't do, because that's rufuas mamon. That's physical healing. Let's see the Gemara. The Mayaskinon. What exactly? Who made the netter to who? Right. That's the question. In the Mishnah it says that a person makes a netter, you're permitted to pay the sick visit, but you're not permitted to sit. You have to stand. You're not permitted to sit. Then it says, and you're permitted to offer a service which is not a monetary service, but if it's monetary entail, that you're not permitted to do, like providing medication or paying for the doctor bill. But my skin, if we say that the person who's not well is not permitted to benefit from the visitor, I feel the Yoshiv Nami. So why can't the visitor sit? The visitor didn't say he's not going to benefit from the sick person, right? The Chola said he's not going to benefit from the visitor. So why? But the Mishnah says he's not permitted to sit. So you have to say no. That the visitor said, "I will not benefit from the possessions of the sick person." He says, but if the possessions of the one who's not well are not permitted to the visitor, I feel he's not permitted even to walk into his house. Standing in that location, he's not permitted to walk there. Right, Ron? Just being in the location, like shelf, whatever it was. Ish nichsim vakas zuel choler yoshna the omeid my time is shoris lay shum vakas mitzvah denafshi ovid nida choler masani mimelo shori came shkir afil yoshiv nami yislay mishum my time again. Right, the omeid my time is shoris lay mishum dem vakas mitzvah denafshi ovid. The Omeid my time of Shoris lay mishum the vaket mitzvah nafshi ovid need the chole misani mimelo shor misani mimelo shori came and she came after Yoshev Nami Yisrael Mishri. If we're saying that the possessions of the ill person are not permitted to the visitor, by coming into his house, it's a shelter, whatever it is, being in a protected environment has some value. Less late, if the mitzvah, how does that allow you to violate your neder? Okay, let's go further. Omer Shmuel, la'olam shenichsim vaka asura ha'achola. Listen to the story. That the visitor said to the sick man, he's not permitted to benefit from his possessions. U'mokum shton tzchal arei yeshiva. You know, people, they pay people a fee to visit the sick. But the fee is only paid if the visitor sits, because that means he's going to spend some time there. But if he stands, he doesn't sit, that means he's not staying long, there's no fee. So that's what we're saying. The visitor says, you will not benefit from me. So if he comes and he waives the fee, and he sits and he waives the fee. So if he waives the fee, that means he's benefiting. But if he stands, for standing, there's not a fee. So if there's no fee, there's nothing wrong, because then the patient, the ill person, is not benefiting from the visitor. Okay? They know l'schar alamido. It's my pisco, but what? So it depends. So what about if you live in a community where you don't even receive a fee for sitting? So how does the Mishnah speak about in such specific cases? He says, what it's telling me like this. If it's a community where they receive a fee for standing, the visitor cannot waive it. He has to, but if he takes it, then he could sit. Yeah. Why? Because then the patient, since he's paying for it, he's not benefiting from it. Right? Boy mishkal alamido lo boy mishkal. But he doesn't have to take it. But it's because since for standing you don't take a fee, so therefore there's no reason. The man is permitted to have you to visit him even if he doesn't give you. Ibo Seimo, the Bach, Ibo Seimo is the Bach page here. Ibo Seimo, Kid Shimi ben Al Yokim. Gezerah Shem Yisha Bamido. Gezerah Shem Yisha. Stop. Hear this? Gezerah Shem Yisha Bamido. Hochanami Gezerah Shem Yisha B'Yeshiva. What does this mean? Let's see the Quran. Mokshanon schar yeshiva nira doch b'shem. Iko duchti shechmiru al atzmon shlito schar afilim yeshiva. You this? Api shu muter mishon mitzvah biga dailo b'amido. You this? We swear a community where they what? They're machmir. They don't take schar even for sitting. The community said. Why? Mishum mitzvah biga dailo b'amido. Afiloch k'dei shlo yavo lito schar amido. Hechmiru alat shlito schara afa yeshiva. Bosam comes ben omid ben Yosef shori. The yeshiva named to mitzvah. El afilu b'mokshe machmir and latzmon. The community where they're not machmir and they take schar for standing. Filoch al amida lo shori le mishkal. But they're not permitted to take up for what? For standing.
Right.
Okay. Shoposik tano v'toni nichnas levakro omet ukulu duchti the mitzvah ovid, because you never get a fee for that. Vidach memela misani.
So that would be obvious.
Avo lo yoshev, but lo yoshev ukulu duchti mokshe machmirin alatzim b'yeshiva like a mitzvah. V'nimtzah chol echai b'scharo. So for sitting to pay a proper sick visit, you don't have to sit. So that's the reason why you charge a fee.
Right.
So the visitor says, I'm willing to waive the fee. So he's not permitted to waive the fee, because if he's waiving the fee,
right, then
the sick man is benefiting. We're talking about they don't pay a fee, not for sitting and not for standing. So what do we differentiate between sitting and standing? Factually, there's no difference between standing and sitting. You're permitted to visit. Let's say a proper sick visit you take for 10 minutes, whether you stand or sit. It's not a problem. But what's the likelihood of, when you sit, you may sit longer than 10 minutes. When you stand, it's easy to gauge it. You're standing, you stay for 10 minutes, you leave. But if you make yourself comfortable, there's a concern. Sit for 10 minutes is not a problem, because that's the mitzvah. But longer, that means I'm providing something that I'm not obligated to provide. That's the concern. Since the man has to stand, you don't let him become comfortable. So he has a reminder that he can only stay there for a short period of time. Okay, that's what he's answering. Back to the Gemara. Or it could be said, he was saying, hear this? We're speaking about that the patient said to the visitor, you cannot benefit from my possessions. But what happens now? No, what happens now? Now the man's sick and needs a visitor. So did he mean to make a netter even where it's a detriment to him? We could say, definitely not. So when he made the netter, you can't benefit. In what context does it mean? Where it doesn't infringe on his health, right? On his life.
Right.
So therefore, since standing is sufficient, so that means even though standing, you're benefiting. You're in a protected environment. You have shelter. But you know something, I never meant that because I need that. Minimally, I need that. But sitting, you know something, you could provide that same service by standing. You don't have to sit. So sitting is more than you need. So that's included in the nether. That's how he's differentiated. Because when he made the netter, he didn't make the netter where it infringes on his life. So he says, let him sit. No, because that doesn't infringe on his life. He doesn't have to sit. To provide the service which will make it will be beneficial, he could stand. You don't have to sit. Therefore, the sitting is unnecessary. Therefore, that's included in the nether. Okay? Further. Meisvei. Cholohu. He became ill. Nichnasu levakro. He's permitted to visit him. Cholo beno. What about if his son became not well? Sholo b'shuk. He's making a differentiation. We're saying the sick person says you cannot benefit from me. So it says if he's sick, the person could come into the house. Because we just said, because when a person makes a neder, he's not going to make a neder which should infringe on his health. So he never meant in that context. What about if his son became that well? He's not permitted to come into the house to visit the son. Why? Because that's not his health. When he made the neder, he meant himself, not his son. That's what it says. It says, Rega, Cholohu nichlas levakro. Cholo b'no, but if his son became ill, Sholo, he has to stand outside the house. Says, by the way, how's he doing? He inquires about him, but he cannot go into the house. Bishlam l'ula, according to Ula's interpretation of the Mishnah, that we have. Well, how do we differentiate between standing and sitting? Standing is a necessity for the person, for the patient. Sitting, you don't have to sit down. Therefore, the netter doesn't permit sitting, but the netter permits standing. So according to Ula, we can differentiate between himself and his son, right? But according to Shmuel's interpretation of the Mishnah, that he said that the patient cannot benefit from the visitor, why do we differentiate between the father and the son? Just as he could stand for the son, for the father, let him pay the sick visit when he stands for the son. Very simple. The Mishnah is speaking where the visitor says you cannot benefit from me. So what's benefit? Doing more than I have to. Then there's no difference between the son and the father.
Okay.
The brisa, which we make the differentiation, is where the patient said you cannot benefit from me.
Right.
So if it's regarding himself, which is an infringement on his health,
Right.
it was never included in the neder. But his son was included in the neder. Therefore, he's not permitted to visit. Someone says, my piska, Omar Rava. Why does he make this differentiation? Omar Rava, Shmuel, Masnisin, Kashise. Shmuel had the Mishnah. The Mishnah was difficult. Just turn the page. Mayir Tana Omeid Avalo Yoshev. It says in the Mishnah that the visitor could only stand, and he's not permitted to sit when he pays the sick visit. So why? Why do we differentiate between standing and sitting? Shmamino Mevaker Asurin Alacholer. So it's clear it must be that the visitor cannot benefit the what? No. Nichse Mevaker Asur Alacholer. Therefore, my service, so when I come and visit, if I could provide standing is sufficient, therefore I'm not sitting is more than I have to do. That means you're benefiting from me. You said you're not permitted to benefit from me. So therefore, and that's why the Mishnah differentiates whether you stand or sit. Since standing is sufficient to do more than that, we don't allow. Where do we find the mitzvah bika cholim is alluded to in the Torah? There's no question, it's chesed. But where do you find specifically bika cholim is alluded to in the Torah? Shenemar im kamos kol odom yamusan elu ufkudas kol odom. What did Moshe read this by Adas Korach? He says if these people die an ordinary death, right? Then they're not going against the word of Hashem. But if the earth should open its mouth and swallow them up, then these people are sinners, right? Yeah. My mashma. How do we extrapolate this from this pasuk? In kamos kol odom yamusan. If they die as every man dies, upkudas kol odom. Kol odom yipoker aleim lo Hashem shlochani. So Moshe said, then I'm not God's agent. That means Korach is right. If they die a normal, natural death, that proves that I'm not God's agent. But if they don't die the natural death, if the earth swallows up, that proves that I am God's agent. My mashma, Omer Rav Kamos Kol Odom Yimusan. Elu Shein Cholum B'Tom Barisosa. There's being people who are deathly ill, and they're confined to bed. They're in bed. Ubnei Odom V'Vakrosa. And people visit them in their sick bed. Mabrius Omrim. So what do people say? Lo Hashem shlochani lezeh. I don't know what that means. How does that? It says a person who's in the sick bed. The other vakarosa mabrius omrim. Lo Hashem shlochani. What's Dalut? Here. Lo Sholcho. Lo Hashem Sholcho. Yeah. How does he explain it? How does he explain it? How does he explain from the Pasuk? Omer in kamos kol odom yemusan elu shein cholim mutalam arisosan ubnei odom mevaknosan. And people pay the visit, the sick visit. Ma brios omer. So what do people say? Lo Hashem shlochani. Lo Hashem sholcho. What does that mean? I don't understand. How does he interpret that?
I think that the prophet here that what Moses was talking about doesn't say that they would live long lives and then pass away, but that they're going to die soon, and the people would visit them.
Yeah. So what does it mean? And what would people say?
First, the plain meaning of the verse. They die a natural death. It could be more interesting the word mean of Moses. So the acquaintance of followers would be able to visit them, that they might go with them and find the things. Of course, it's clear that Moses was saying to that God that he's suffering, that they're not thinking about sickness and pain. Moses said the fact that they're doing it sick.
I hear what he's saying. He says.
He has several meanings.
No, that's what it means like this. Initially, it was saying like this. If they die a person that dies naturally, how happens? He first gets sick, then he dies. No, some people will visit. Right. So that proves that I'm not the Shliach Hashem. Right. But because they're going to die suddenly, that proves I am the Shliach Hashem. Okay? That's what he's saying. Okay? In Kumos Kolod, we use an Elushin Chodim Butom Barisosan, the Odom Vaknosan. So what would people say? Lo Hashem shlochani. So Hashem, people say, I'm not God's agent. No, it's very interesting. It's very interesting. The Gemara says, who was the first person to become not well, to become ill? Norman, it's important for you to hear. Who was the first person to be in the history of the world to become ill? No, that he was ill. No, ill, not age. First one's Avram to age, but illness. Yaakov, we just said. Why? Yosef was informed. Your father's choler, sick. So why? So the Gemara says, because Yaakov, that person dies suddenly. Until then, the person would die suddenly. So if the person dies suddenly, he's not able to make all the financial arrangements for his family, to give them their orders on many levels. The person becomes ill, he knows he's going to die. He still has time to make whatever arrangements have to be made. His financial arrangements, family arrangements, that's what it has to be. So it comes out phenomenon, meaning like this. If you die a natural death, that means you become ill. And then people are going to visit you during that time. That proves then Hashem didn't send me. Then I'm not the agent. But if you should die suddenly, that proves I am Hashem. I am God's agent. That's what he's saying. But it comes out interesting. So before Yaakov was mispal for illness. So before that, there was no such thing as Bikacholim. So Moshe couldn't have given this sign. Moshe only could give this sign, according to what the Gemara is saying now, that it's alluding to Bikacholim, only because there's illness in the world. If the incident of Korach would have happened before Yaakov, asked for illness, he couldn't have given this sign, right? Couldn't have given this sign. You understand what I'm saying? Because the whole idea, if you become ill, and it's a gradual decline in health, and people will visit you, that proves that I'm not Hashem's agent. But you can't give that a proof because there's no such thing as illness. Okay? Further. Here's the God of Tanya. Excuse me. Dorsh Rav Imbrio Yivra Hashem is Imbrio. What does that mean? If God creates a bria, a creation, what is this referring to? Hey, Rega. Brewer. Yeah. Okay. If Brio Yivra Hashem, in Brewer Gehenim Mutav. Tia. Yeah? If Hashem created a creation, and what is it referring to? Gehenim Mutav, it's good. Mutav Tia. Vimlo Lav Yivra Hashem. And if not, Hashem should create it. Hear this? If Gehenim wasn't yet created, He's created for you people. This is what He was saying to them. And if it wasn't yet created, it should be created now for you people. That's what He's saying to Korah. You guys are guilty regardless. If Gehenim exists now, that's where you guys are going. And if it doesn't exist, create it now that you should go there. Okay? So Moshe says, how could it be? How could Moshe said that? If it was created. It says 7 things were created before existence. Eloin, Torah, Tshuva, Gan Eden, Gehenim, Kisei HaKovod, Beis HaMikdash, Ushmo Shel Moshiach. Right? So how could Moshe say, if Gehenim's now, fine. If not, let him create it. What's even the consideration wasn't created? It says it's one of the 7 things that were created before creation, before existence. Shiva Dvarim, Nivru Kodem Shenivra Olam, Eloin, Torah, Tshuva, Gan Eden, Gehenim, Kisei HaKovod, that's the heavenly throne, Beis HaMikdash, Shmo Shel Kodesh Mashiach, Torah D'chsiv. Where do we see Torah was created before the world? Hashem Kononi Reishis Darko. Hashem acquired it. This was the beginning of His approach. That's the very beginning. Torah is the beginning. Tshuva, D'chsiv Terem Hori Milodu T'cholel. It says before the mountains were given birth to. T'cholel. Toshev Enish. And then it says Toshev Enish Adako. Man is able to repent till the last moment of his life. Gan Eden, D'chsiv Yita Hashem Elokim Gan Be'eden Mikedem. What does Kedem mean? It means from earlier times, from ancient times. Gehenim D'chsiv Ki Oroch Me Esmol Tifta. It's already been set in place from yesterday. Tifta is referring to Gehenim. Gehenim is already set in place from before. Second. Klobish Olom Machshava Divoros Kodem Shnivra Olam Sheyev Shel Olam Elohim Kedamidan Shemachshavtin Shel Yisrael Kodmod Chol Al Korchov Lo Nivra Olam V'Lo Gehenim Tzar Husham Imlo Mikro Puma Locha further. Kisei HaKovod D'chsiv Nochon Kischa Mi Oz. Yeah, your kisei, your throne was was correct from then. What's from then? Kisei kobod moro mirishon. Okay, it says mirishon from originally. Yeah. Mokom migdoshenu. Mokom migdoshenu. Shmo shom Mashiach Yisiv. Koshmo leolam. Yeah. His name, meaning, Yehi Shmo leolam. Yehi. His name should be from forever. That means from the beginning. Elohi Kamar. So what did he say? He said it's not referring to Bikacholim. It's not referring, because we say that Gehenna, he couldn't say, if Gehenna was created, fine, because Gehenna pre-existed existence. I Ivri le Puma Mutav. If Hashem already created a mouth to the earth, then good. Vimlav, and if he didn't create the mouth, yet Yibra. This is the final pshat. This is the pshat Rashi. D'chsiv, ein kol chodesh tachas Hashemesh. You hear this? No, the Gemara says, how could Moshe said that? If Hashem created it, fine. If not, let him create it now. But Shlomo says, ein chodesh tachas Hashemesh. There's no new creation coming to existence later. So what was Moshe saying? If not, he should create it. Hochi yomer. Hi hocha lo mekar puma lohocha likoriv. Yeah, Ihocha means if the mouth is right here where they are, let them be swallowed. And if it's not here, it's there, let Hashem just shift it over. So as a result, that's not a new creation. It's just changing its location. There you go. Yeah. Ihocha. Yeah. Hochiam. Ihocha tes. Takes out hocha. Lo mekar puma lohocha likariv. Dorish Rav Ami lo Omer Rav Yitzchok. Maidich siv shemesh yoreach omad zvulo. What does that mean? Shemesh, there's a pasuk where lamed. Lamed. Shemesh yoreach omad zvulo. L'or chitzecho yahalechu l'noiga barak chanisecho. It's the pasuk. Maidis of shemesh yireach omad zvulo shemesh bach aleph shemesh yireach bezvul. My bayon v'berikia kvi. He's asking what it says. It's zvul is one of the heavens. Hear this: the seven heavens. One of the sevens is heavens. It's called Zvul. So it says over here, Shemesh Yurech Omad, Zvulo, Shemesh Yurech. And where is the Shemesh and Yurech? Where are they located? Zvul. Samar says, my bayon. What's the problem with the pasuk? What's difficult with this pasuk? This pasuk is a pasuk in Chavakuk. He says, V'brikia Kvi. Hear this? How could you tell me the Shemesh Yurech is in Zvul, which is a higher heaven? It says explicitly when God created the heaven, Shemesh Yoreach, the sun, and where did he put it? It says Barakia. Right. Put in the Rakia. Rakia is a lesser level. But the pasuk says that it's located in Zvul. Zvul is a higher level. They ascended. Initially, when God created the world, they were at a lower level, and then afterwards they ascended to a higher level. The sun and the moon. Onu meirin, onu meirin. Vimlav ein onu meirin. Yeah? They said, this happened during Korach contested Moshe's authority. So they said to Hashem, if you stick up for Moshe, we'll shine, we'll function as luminaries. And if not, we're going out of business. This is what they're saying to Hashem. Yeah? No. There's no rivalry between them. This is what they're both saying to Hashem.
Right.
Yeah. Shum de b'sis mitzrayim kris yamsu b'shtoy b'sev v'arkav u'ksiv bei mechtzas rosh beis rosh mashmalu dainu Okay. So what happened? Yora ben chitzim chanisos. Hear this? At that moment, when the sun and the moon gave Hashem this ultimatum, either you help Moshe or we're going out of business. Hashem shot, whatever this means, arrows and spears into the sun, the moon and the sun. Meaning, he punished them. Omar, lamb, he said to them, every day you have sun worshippers, moon worshippers, they bow to you. And yet you illuminate, despite the fact is that they're using you to disgrace me. And you're not coming in any way to protest my honor. But now with the honor of man is at stake, now you're coming to protest it? Now, what kind of comparison is it? You have to understand. Why is the sun and moon? Why? What does Moshe represent? Moshe represents Hashem.
Yeah.
Hashem. He says, I mean, until now, for my honor, you don't protest. For the honor of a mortal, you do protest. But this mortal is you. He's representing you. Right? So I think there's the answer. What happens if Moshe's authority is usurped? You know what happens? The world reverts back to pre-existence. Because if there's no Torah, there's no world. So when they came with the claim, they said, if anything happens to Moshe, we're going out of business. You know why? Because they are out of business. No, because the world, there's no Torah, there's no world. So Hashem says, you mean, for the honor of man, you make a claim, really, they were coming in there for their own interest. It's not my glory, it's your own glory. But when they worship me, you don't protest. Because there you're secure. When you're secure, you don't worry about it. When you become insecure, all of a sudden now you're coming with a protest. That's why they're culpable. That's why Hashem is slapping them down. You have the arrows and the spears being put into them. Every day the process repeats itself. Yora ben chitzin. Now, when you visit somebody, how many times do you have to visit? Unlimited. Meaning, the mitzvah bichum is so valuable that the reward is endless. Unlimited reward. So why are you picking on Bikkur Cholim? Every mitzvah is that. Right? We say, Schar Bayal Maleka. A mitzvah is so enormous, you can't live enough years in this world to be rewarded. So why are you saying specifically Bikkur Cholim? Right? So Sabai says to his Rebbe, you should be as careful with a minor mitzvah as a major mitzvah, because you don't know. You know what Shir means? That even a greater person visiting a younger person, a small, that's not considered an infringement on his honor. A Godler don't want to marry an ordinary Jew. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. Ein lo shir. It's not based on status. Because you're going to do a mitzvah. Ein lo shir means even if you visited man once, twice, 10 times, if he's still in need of visiting, there's a mitzvah to keep going. Many years ago, I developed some kind of virus, and I was hospitalized for 3 days. It came and it went, whatever it was. So I was very close to my Rosh Hashiva. So my Rosh Hashiva wanted to visit me. I was married already. I was in the hospital. So a certain person in the administration didn't want him to visit me. Yeah. He didn't want my Rosh Hashiva. Rosh Hashiva was then already a man in his 80s. He was going to come to the hospital to visit me, which was, for me, was a tremendous honor. So, but this person didn't want him. Why did he want him? If it would have been his son, he would have wanted him to visit him, because he felt he would be setting a precedent. Because he visits me, why does he visit somebody else? So people don't understand the relationship. The answer is that's exactly the problem. They don't understand the relationship, so what's going to be? They'll say, other people will be offended. So you know something? Don't make a precedent. Don't go. But that's not what he told him. Because if he would have told Mershibah that, he would have gone with spite that. He says, an older man, you could catch something in the hospital. There were all kinds of things in the hospital. It's better to stay away at your age. That's what they told him. That's the reason why he didn't come. But the real reason is what I'm telling you. It was his own personal interest. Like I said, but if it would have been his son, there's no question he would have gone. So that's Ein Lo Shir, even Godel Kodel, even a great person to visit, ordinary person, that's something which is appropriate when it comes to Bikkur Cholim.